Home workout apps can be a really good idea for anyone wanting to get into shape, but the only downside of using these apps are when the workouts become too easy. So, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys both basic and advanced training techniques and principles that will make sure your workouts are always hard hitting. Let's first get into the principles you guys will follow. Number 1 is tempo. If you guys have been following the channel long enough, you'd know that this principle has remained a staple across all of my programs. For those unfamiliar with the tempo, it essentially alters the speed for each part of an exercise. Let's take a normal dip. A standard tempo that I like to use is a 2-2-2 tempo. When applied to a dip, this means I'll lower myself down 2 seconds. I then would pause at the bottom for 2 seconds and then come up on the concentric for 2 seconds. The formula is basically speed of eccentric, isometric, and concentric. The idea of change in tempo of an exercise is to obviously slow down the exercise, but in the bigger sense, increase the total amount of time under tension to the targeted muscles. Number 2, time under tension. The main concern of time under tension and having this applied to your exercises is basically always being in control of your reps. It's imperative that no matter what exercises you guys do, that they are always controlled and you are taking the exercise through the full range of motion as it's supposed to. Too many times I see beginners rush through their sets as if it's a race to see who can finish their set the fastest. This is not how you stimulate muscle hypertrophy. This is how you waste time. There are exceptions when the focus on your workout is explosiveness or endurance, but in the case of hypertrophy, slow it down, control it, and focus on activating or using the muscles you're trying to work. Number 3, training to or close to failure. Calisthenics has the potential to either be the hardest or easiest form of training you'll ever do. This all comes down to the techniques you use, which we'll get into later, but also the capacity to push yourself when you don't want to. I can't express enough that feeling the urge to quit when you train is more of a common feeling than you'd know. These are the types of workouts that will force you to grow. If you can develop that discipline to train consistently and relentlessly every time, there's no doubt you'll improve. So, train as hard as you can without injuring yourself. The general rule is that at least one set of every exercise you do has to be taken to or close to failure. So either you can barely or absolutely not do another rep. If the workout you're following is cycle based, usually these type of workouts are endurance based, but my recommendation is to have the last round or cycle you do to be the goal where you push yourself to failure. Number 4, which is probably the most important principle in all of this, and that is progressive overload. The key element that will allow you to progress each year. In simple terms, this means setting a new standard week by week. Whether that means increasing the cycles or rounds you do, increasing the reps, sets, tempo, etc. The main concept here is to always be looking for the next hardest thing. In calisthenics, this usually means trying to make the exercise more difficult by doing a harder variation. So if your workout in the app normally has push-ups, you can swap this out for a more difficult variation, such as a close push-up or decline push-up. Number 5, think hard to easy, easy to hard. Fundamentally, your workouts and training should always be difficult. No workout should be a breeze unless you are actively recovering. So your main goal is to make the current workout or exercises that you do easy, and once that becomes easy, you have the obligation to make that difficult again. Essentially, you're adapting to the workout, which then makes it easy because you've gotten stronger, but since you've gotten stronger, you have to find a way to make it hard again. This goes back to progressive overload. The kind of workouts where you think to yourself, oh man, that was really hard, I'm not doing that again. That feeling right there is powerful. Doing what you don't want to do is the catalyst to growth. Finally, now let's get into the advanced techniques that you guys will apply to your workouts and exercises. 1.5 reps. Take any exercise you do and add a half on top of a full rep. For example, in a pull-up, you do this by pulling up all the way to the top, coming down halfway, pulling back up to the top, and then going all the way down. This would be considered 1 rep. As a general rule of thumb, you should never start with a half. You should always go to the isolation part of the exercise first, and then do the half. So for a squat, you'd go all the way down, come back up half, go back down, and then complete the rep. Double reps. As it implies in the name, 2 reps count as 1. I'd recommend using this technique as a superset or drop set because you're essentially doubling your reps. This technique is a type of exception where you try to complete the set as fast as possible. The main focus of this technique is to burn you out, and trust me, it's not fun. Drop sets and supersets. Let's tackle each very quickly. When doing drop sets with calisthenics, this usually means you'll immediately perform an easier variation of the exercise. For example, if I were doing pull-ups and I finished my reps, I'll either do pull-ups using a resistance band or do Australian pull-ups. For supersets, you have to be a little creative here. This usually means adding any type of exercise on top of your set. Just like a drop set, but the focus isn't to go down to an easier variation. Its main purpose is to also burn you out even more. If you're doing squats, you can sporadically superset to lunges or Bulgarian split squats, for example. Even though supersets work best when used to target the antagonist muscle, I found in my program and experience that it's better to work on the same muscle. It's basically used as a burner. Myo reps and myo sets. This type of set has to probably be the most grueling and mentally challenging, but can work wonders for your growth. Myo reps or myo sets are sets that follow a specific target. For example, if I'm doing dips, I'll aim for a total of 30 reps and hit that rep goal no matter what. You want to make sure the goal you set is something you can't complete in one given attempt. This technique works best when you're doing it rest pause style to get to the goal. Obviously, don't set a goal that seems impossible to reach based on your strength level. When you rest pause at least 2 to 3 times, that's usually considered perfect. And I don't recommend setting a goal any higher than 30, but in some cases 40 if the exercise you're doing is quite easy. Incorporating a good mix of calisthenic skills like front lever and the planche. People tend to skimp out on these exercises because they're difficult to learn and master. I'm not a master with any of these skills, but as a calisthenics practitioner, learning at least the basics will do wonders for you. It's a good idea to add these skills at the start of your workout since they'll be the most difficult to do. Weighted calisthenics. This is by far the easiest way for you to instantly increase the effectiveness of your home workouts, purely because it's the easiest way to make whatever exercises you do that you find really easy almost immediately difficult. So if you have access to weight plates, a backpack, and a dip belt, definitely incorporate these into your routine. Finisher sets. This will act as the solidification that you gave it your best in your workout. At the end of your workout, if you feel like you could have pushed yourself a little bit harder, do this. Take all the exercises you did in that workout, do it all again once, and take each to failure. Home workout apps can be a super convenient and fun way to work out at home, but sometimes the workouts on some of these apps are way too easy for anyone to make any kind of progress. But by using these principles and techniques, you guys can effectively take what would be considered a really easy workout and instantaneously make it vomit-inducing. Although I'm an advocate for training as hard as you can, don't go overboard, especially with all those techniques. When used in combination with each other, you could easily wreck yourself. I'm not saying don't combine them, but be careful with overtraining. The last thing you want to do is injure yourself or overstimulate your muscles. All these techniques and principles are what I use in my own programs, so if you guys are interested in that, you could look into it. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.